Top Story Countdown. We'll guide you through the biggest news of the day. Our focus, advocating our rights, advocating health, and advocating Earth. Here's our pick for number 4.
Lord God, fill me now with your Spirit.
Pat Robertson was a seminal figure of the religious right. He founded the Christian Broadcasting Network, the political advocacy group, the Christian Coalition, and the Christian College Regent University. But he was also known for his outspoken views on homosexuality, feminism, and a host of other hot-button issues.
There isn't one single civilization that has survived that had openly embraced homosexuality.
In 2001, he agreed with fellow televangelist Jerry Falwell that God allowed the 9/11 terrorists to succeed because America had moved to the left and removed religion from the mainstream.
I totally concur.
The Yale Law School graduate and Korean War vet had a religious awakening in the late 1950s. He bought a bankrupt local station in Portsmouth, Virginia, and it became the first outlet for the Christian Broadcast Network. It was the first Christian TV network in the U.S. and became one of the world's largest TV ministries. Its flagship program was The Daily Show he hosted, The 700 Club, named for the 700 donors who launched it in 1961.
I plan to make a formal announcement of my candidacy for the Republican nomination for the presidency of the United States.
Robertson, whose father was a congressman and U.S. senator, ran as a Republican presidential candidate in 1988. He came in second in the Iowa caucus, but his campaign didn't fare as well in other primary states. He dropped out of the race and returned to hosting the 700 Club, where he famously made bold predictions that didn't always come true.
Romney will win the election.
Do you believe that?
I absolutely believe
What makes you believe that?
Because the Lord told me.
Pat Robertson, a key founder of the conservative Christian movement, who never shied away from expressing his views, no matter how controversial they might be.
TheAdvocateChannel.com looks at the world through the lens of equality and inclusion. Subscribe, like and share now. AC 24/7 Top Story Countdown continues with our producer's pick for number 3.
You don't see yourself as a victim?
No, I'm a survivor. I fought my way like hell to get through that day.
What were you doing that day when all of a sudden, everything changed?
It was a normal day for us. It was like a crack in the window. Then it continued within the same minutes. We've seen another one, and I'm like, ooh, maybe something is a little, I'm a little nervous. I got a little nervous. I said, something's wrong.
We both were at the door.
Mm-hmm.
We each had a cat in our hands, and I reached to grab the door.
Like, imagine hearing a building get tore down. That's how it sounded when it just, everything just fell. Everything just fell, and I fell.
While help got to the scene quickly, they couldn't get Peach out for at least 6 hours.
What were you thinking when all of a sudden, hours were going by and you still were trapped?
I have to make it for her, especially. I have to survive this. I have to be able to tell this story. I got these metal pipes of water, gallons of water just pouring on me. I'm just soaking wet with metal pieces everywhere. And I was taking pieces of the floor, anything I could find around me, like covering my head so that I didn't drown. In my mind, I'm just like, how could I be trapped under so much? They were digging me out for hours and hours and hours, to the point where they had to cut my foot on the scene.
Her doctor says he amputated her leg on the scene.
There was nothing to think about. I wanted to live. I didn't want to be trapped. I didn't want to be, I didn't want more debris to fall on me, because it was already hard enough. And to be honest, I didn't want the firefighters to have to be trapped or beaten down or bruised with anything. Like, I wanted everyone to make it out of there alive. And with no hesitation, amputate what you have to do what you have to do to get me out of here.
What do you think when you look down there?
It's a bad wound.
On the scene, a red dress marks where their apartment once stood. An apartment building where just days before the collapse, inspectors noticed a brick surface had separated from an interior wall and appeared ready to fall imminently, according to a letter addressed to whom it may concern from an engineer dated May 24th.
You know how they knew about it? They were told time and time again.
It's why Peach and Lexus Berry are suing, alleging the warning signs were known much earlier than a few days prior.
The family wants the owners of the building, the engineers, the contractors, held responsible for this tragic and 100% preventable event.
But not everything can be recovered in a courtroom.
When I closed my eyes, I heard the cracking again. I heard the falling, the dropping again. It's like, is it going to happen again? Like, am I safe in the building I'm in?
What did this take from you?
I don't think it really took anything from me, because you can't take my peace. You can't take my hope. You can't take my power. This is just another stepping stone to my story.
Like the Advocate channel on Facebook for the best way to get up-to-date stories that advocate for equality, justice, our rights and more. AC24 continues with today's top 2 pick.
Raging floodwater with whole towns submerged. This Ukrainian military drone video purports to show a family trapped in a Russian-controlled village pleading for help. But all the small drone can do is drop a bottle of water. We went on a rescue mission in Kherson, where the water levels are still rising.
So these guys tell us that they've been at work here since last night. They said the work during the night was extremely difficult and that they're really tired, but of course, they have to keep going.
They found this house abandoned, but rescued 3 kittens. Roman Skandrakov tells me the volunteers face Russian shelling on nearly every sortie. Of course, it's extremely dangerous, he says, especially today. It's very loud. Russia and Ukraine continue to blame each other for the destruction of the Novakhovka Dam and hydroelectric power plant. The Ukrainians say on their side alone, hundreds of thousands are without normal access to water and nearly 2,000 homes are underwater. While the rescue efforts are hampered by the near constant artillery and mortar barrages. Look, we're working despite the possibility of us being shelled. We're taking risks every day, Ukraine's interior minister tells me. We understand that this is war, and it is very difficult to completely avoid a drone or incoming missile. And that dangerous work is far from over. The authorities here say they expect they'll be busy all night getting more people to safety.
Follow the Advocate channel on Twitter and Instagram to stay up to date on stories that matter every day. We've now arrived at our #1 story of the day. Take a look.
Very, very scary. Just walking down the street and feeling like I'm going to have an asthma attack. That's how bad the air quality is.
Millions of people across the eastern half of the U.S. are under air quality alerts. As smoke from the wildfires in Canada blankets U.S. cities.
It feels like I'm at a campfire that I don't want to be at, and there's no s'mores.
Smoke-filled skies are impacting areas from Boston to New York and Washington, D.C., and as far west as Minnesota, and as far south as the Carolinas. Areas surrounding Washington, D.C. are expected to see the worst air quality beginning Thursday morning. On Wednesday, the famous Manhattan skyline resembled something out of an apocalyptic movie, with the sun almost completely blotted out.
This is the worst air quality we've experienced in over 20 years. This is hard to breathe right now.
The air quality in the area was recorded as the worst in the world Wednesday, with people urged to stay indoors or mask outside. School activities and professional sporting events around the Northeast were canceled.
Simply stay indoors. Outdoors is dangerous in just about every part of our state, not just vulnerable communities, but literally everyone.